In the UK, 2 Labour MPs are considering challenging for the Labour Party leadership to stop Andy Burnham becoming Prime Minister without a contest. Darren Jones, a senior cabinet minister, and Al Carnes, who quit as a defense minister a few weeks ago, are both considering taking on the challenge. Tracy Furness has more.
Ex-Mayor of Greater Manchester Andy Burnham arrives at Westminster by taxi to jeers from protesters. Some supporters on the fence about him.
I think Andy Burnham brings some enthusiasm, which I think this country desperately needs. But whether he's got the answers, I'm not sure. No, I'm really not.
Inside Parliament, Burnham is sworn in as MP.
We now come to Andy Burnham, member for Makerfield.
I swear by Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles, his heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God.
Burnham has confirmed he will run to succeed Keir Starmer, who resigned Monday. Across the capital, the change has people talking, many hoping a new Prime Minister can finally deliver stability and growth. But Burnham's run for Labour leader comes with some challenges. Darren Jones, a senior cabinet minister, and Al Carnes, previously a defence minister, who resigned a few weeks ago. Both are considering challenging Burnham. Jones, however, is considered an unlikely candidate, but he is understood to have not ruled it out. Starmer won a landslide victory in the 2024 general election, but a series of missteps have badly damaged his credibility. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
U.S. President Donald Trump calls the soon-to-exit British Prime Minister Keir Starmer a lovely man, even though he has grievances over some of Starmer's policies.
I think he's a lovely man, but I said, you're really messing up energy. You have windmills all over the place. In the meantime, you have the North Sea oil, and they won't let anybody drill. It's one of the great fields in the world, and they haven't even found most. You know that the UK buys much of its energy. You know where? Norway. You know where they get their oil? The North Sea. The UK has a much better portion of the North Sea. They don't want to do it for environmental purposes, okay? And I told him he's a very nice man. I mean, sort of a friend of mine.
A joint operation between Hong Kong and mainland police bust a syndicate engaging in fraud and money laundering, involving more than $200 million. 69 people have been arrested so far. Local police and mainland officers held an operation targeting a syndicate involved in fraud and money laundering that resulted in the arrest of 54 men and 15 women aged between 18 and 60 yesterday. Authorities took notice of the group after a woman residing in the mainland reported to the police last month about being involved in a suspected romance scam. The fraudsters instructed her to download a bogus cryptocurrency investment platform, which claimed to offer major returns. The woman was subsequently asked to make the transfers via her digital bank account. Hong Kong police says the scammers once showed investment returns of up to $970,000 to the victims to trick her into believing the authenticity of the investment platform, leading her to make even bigger investments. The woman transferred over $10 million to 10 local bank accounts between March and May this year, after which the syndicate transferred the proceeds to another 106 local accounts. The police later successfully retrieved $4.7 million, pointing out the bogus accounts belonged to 98 mainlanders and 17 locals, with one other person holding an overseas passport. Further investigation revealed the syndicate was involved in more bogus accounts and fraud cases. Authorities recorded a total of 1,210 investment scam cases in just the first 3 months of this year, which is a rise of 17% year-on-year. The police remind residents to be mindful of scammers' tactics of promoting online investment schemes and urges residents to notify authorities if suspicions arise. EU ambassador says European businesses will continue to invest in Hong Kong, including supporting the development of the northern metropolis. Acting Chief Executive Paul Lam welcomes the EU to join hands in exploring opportunities. Adi Ziauddin has more.
The European Union office to Hong Kong and Macau, together with the European Chamber of Commerce in Hong Kong, hosts a seminar under the theme Driving Sustainability Through Innovation. Acting Chief Executive Paul Lam and Ambassador Harvey Roos, head of the European Union office to Hong Kong and Macau, shared their thoughts at the event. In his address, Ambassador Roos notes EU direct investment in Hong Kong exceeds 617 billion Hong Kong dollars. He reaffirms European business will continue to invest in Hong Kong.
We actually invest more in Hong Kong than the Republic of Korea, Thailand, and Vietnam combined. This is particularly relevant as Hong Kong develops the northern metropolis. European companies can contribute world-class expertise in sustainable urban planning, smart infrastructure, energy efficiency, mobility and digital technologies.
Paul Lam says Hong Kong's competitiveness ranking has climbed to second in the world, underpinned by the institutional credibility of the rule of law. Predictable, reliable, clean, and efficient. He reaffirmed that Hong Kong will remain open and diversified.
It's no longer mainly a context of cost or scale, or even of innovation. It's a context of institutional credibility. The more fragmented the world becomes, the more valuable, predictable rules and enforceable commitments become. Hong Kong is committed to remaining an open and diversified society. And for the present purpose, friends from the European Union are most welcome to join hands with us to explore and seize the opportunities offered by using innovation to support a sustainable development.
Lam adds Hong Kong is preparing its first 5-year plan, which includes aligning with national new energy technology development, supporting pilot programs on sustainable aviation fuel, and leveraging financial and market-based mechanisms to help promising green technology enterprises scale up. Andy Zeldin, TVB News.
The government has revised its proposal for a dedicated legislation for the northern metropolis and is aiming to submit the draft to the Legislative Council next month. The legislation seeks to remove barriers and speed up progress. The authorities had previously submitted preliminary amendments and recently made some revisions. This includes measures to facilitate the four flows of people, goods, data, and capital between the border. In a legislative council, lawmaker Ray Wong says the specific routes for data flow, material flow, and capital flow have not been announced, making it difficult to assess the time frame for interested companies. Secretary for Development Bernadette Lin says the first element is the flow of people. She says other elements, flows, will be submitted as subsidiary legislation when they are more mature. But small-scale pilot programs will be implemented first. Welcome back. A fire burns through a commercial building in the northern Indian city of Lucknow, killing at least 14 people, most of them students. The blaze broke out in the Aliganj neighborhood Monday in a building housing a pet shop and veterinary clinic on the lower floors, with a study center and an animation studio above. Officials said at least 10 people were rescued and taken to hospital. Dense smoke hampered rescue efforts, forcing firefighters to break through a rear wall and use exhaust fans to clear the smoke as they search for survivors. Officials said 14 bodies have been recovered. The cause of the fire is not yet known. U.S. President Donald Trump is ordering a push to build a powerful quantum computer for scientific research and speed efforts to protect government systems from related cyber threats, bolstering U.S. efforts in its race with China for a technology that could upend science and cybersecurity. Tracy Furness has more.
In the Oval Office Monday, U.S. President Donald Trump signs an order calling for developing by 2028 the first ever quantum computer powerful enough for scientific research.
Thank you. Quantum technologies represents the next generation of innovation across computing, sensing, and networking with enormous significance for our country's economic growth, scientific research, and cyber security. It's really a big deal that we're doing today.
The second order seeks to bolster the nation's cybersecurity, anticipating a time when such powerful computers will be able to break the best encryption.
As quantum rolls forward, it will challenge public key cryptography, which is what secures everything. It secures our financial transactions, our civilian critical infrastructure, and it secures the digital systems that Americans rely on for their daily life. And these two executive orders, which pair innovation and security, will address those issues.
The second order I'm signing directs federal agency to transition to what is called quantum cryptography. Do anybody know what that is? You're going to hear very soon, so you're going to find it interesting. Cryptography.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So 141 years ago, Albert Einstein, 121 years ago, Albert Einstein published a paper.
Nobody cares.
Good point.
I never go back. And usually they won't catch you. But
published a paper on the photoelectric effect, recognizing the quantum behavior of light, that it came in quanta. 40 years after that, President Trump's uncle, John Trump, was a pioneer in applying light radiation and the reflections of it to develop radar at the MIT Radiation Lab.
Trump's directives mark the latest attempts to tap into the strange behavior of subatomic particles to build machines that could perform calculations at far higher speeds than conventional supercomputers. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
U.S. National Guard members and park police patrolled the deck around the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool as U.S. President Donald Trump's administration faces a self-imposed deadline to fix a botched renovation before the nation's 250th anniversary celebration. The patrols came after Trump insisted vandals were responsible for damage to the peel and coating after an algae bloom occurred. The liner was installed as part of his $14 million+ project. The president confirms the problems most likely require draining the pool again for liner repairs, and he promised a quick fix. Without offering substantiation, he also says vandals dumped fertilizer in the pool and slashed the coating with a box cutter. But the timeline was not clear, with the White House saying damaged areas are still being assessed. Contractors and federal workers in recent days have been using chemicals and ozone nanobubbles to combat the algae. At an executive order signing, Trump says 5 people have been arrested and 5 more were under suspicion. And he deflected blame for the pool's maintenance issues. He says, "I can help it if somebody goes in with a knife and starts hacking it up." A shooter in Montreal, Canada, kills 2, including an officer, and injures another. The incident marks the first time in 24 years a city officer has died in the line of duty. The shooting happened Monday in the Côte des Neiges neighborhood. Officers responded to a call and afterwards exchanged gunfire with a suspect armed with a long gun. The suspect was shot dead by police. A second officer was seriously injured but in stable condition. A civilian also died, though it remains unclear who fired that shot. Authorities are still trying to determine the suspect's motive, but confirmed multiple agencies were consulted, including the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, before investigators concluded the shooting was not a terrorist attack. Quebec Premier Christine Frechette expressed condolences and ordered flags to fly at half-staff. She thanked first responders and said psychological support services have been made available to those affected. Ngong Ping 360 holds a day and night celebration to mark its 20th anniversary. A new night riding experience featuring 108 cabins dressed in new glowing skins is being introduced. Kelly Law reports.
To celebrate its 20th anniversary, Ngong Ping 360 is hosting a series of festivities, not only at Ngong Ping village, but also across the cable car fleet. Among them, 24 cabins are dressed in uniquely themed designs, while the other 80+ cabins have been transformed into glowing night cars, offering visitors a one-of-a-kind-like experience. The night riding service is a limited-time offer, available on just 8 selected nights. On those evenings, exclusive concerts would also be held at the village.
Traveling on the cable car in the nighttime, it's a totally different experience. Along the way, you will see the illuminated Hong Kong International Airport, Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, and if the weather cooperates, you can actually even see through to Macau and Zhuhai along the way. Of course, the Big Buddha being illuminated at night, it's also an experience that it's not easy for a tourist to experience. We are hopeful that we'll have a single-digit percentage increase year on year for the summer.
For the first time, retired cable cars have been repurposed as special 20th anniversary photo installations, placed throughout the village to showcase Hong Kong's unique character. Beyond the glowing cable cars, Ngong Ping village will also transform into a nostalgic neon-themed boulevard at night, giving visitors a distinctive day-to-night experience. Ngong Ping 360 is also launching a special 1+1 daytime combo ticket offer. For those interested in the night riding experience, additional tickets can be purchased separately. Night car service will extend to 10 p.m. with the last carriage departing from Ngong Ping Station at 9:30 p.m. Kelly Lor, TVB News.
Lhasa is the present-day capital of Xizang, also known as Tibet. However, throughout history, Xizang's political and religious centers were distributed across other cities. Some Hong Kong travelers visited Tasha Hunpa Monastery in Shigatse to learn about Tibetan Buddhist culture. Samantha Lowe tells us more from Xizang.
Located in Shigatse, Tashilunpun Monastery features golden roofs and red walls. The structure rises in layers, creating a staggered appearance. Built in 1444, it is a monastery of the Gilak school of Tibetan Buddhism. This Hong Kong tour group gained a new perspective on religious culture during their trip. Mr. Leung said they grew up in Hong Kong, where the influence of Han Chinese Buddhism is more prominent. Since coming here, they feel that Tibetan and Han Chinese Buddhism complement each other, each with its own unique aspects. A tour guide noted that for visitors, the experience in Shigatse may be even more immersive than in Lhasa. Wang Xiaodui says this year he has been busier than last year, as more people are traveling. He adds that tourists can see more traditional culture in Shigatse, such as elderly women pilgrims in traditional clothing. The most powerful dynasty in Tibetan history, the Tubal Kingdom, originated here in Shannan. This palace is called Yumbulagang. It was built in the 2nd century BCE by the first Tibetan king and later converted into a monastery.
In the summer, visitors can still see the palace under the sunlight as late as 9 p.m.
Authorities stated that a cumulative investment of 25 million yuan has been made toward the palace's restoration. Dun Zhu, the person in charge, explains the structure of the palace is mainly built of stone and timber. The wooden components are prone to damage from natural factors like weathering and erosion. His team patrol the area every day, allowing them to address safety hazards or defects in the cultural relics promptly. Samantha Lowe, TVB News, Xizang.
And that's the news. Thanks for watching.